What do Legos, the loss of a family member, and the Potawatomi Indians all have in common? The answer, very little. However, our next Toastmaster has figured out a way to combine them all in his speech titled, Thank You, Mike and Carson. Please show your love for Toastmaster Nate Book.
Hey.
Whoa. There's no grandeur in hurting people, but that's what little brothers are for. Don't mind me, I'm just letting out my inner child. How many here have an older brother or sister? Well, let me apologize for the rest of us younger siblings in attendance today. I was the second oldest growing up, which made me the number one pain in my brother's butt. I was reminded recently of family and just how important they are when I was on YouTube and I was watching this video slideshow that was done by my older brother for my sister's funeral. You see, she passed away in 2020. And watching it made me realize just how important family is. And I sort of relived the last few years of how many times I should have told her I love her. It hurts. It hurts. Even to this day, I still have probably not completely processed the fact that she's gone. However, Carson, I want to thank you. You're actually my speech because you reminded all of us in your speech on your near-death experience and how important family is. You shared this message of love and caring that reminded me, and all of us, I felt lucky to attend it, that when it's your time, there's two groups of people. You got one group that feels like, hey, I actually had that chance to tell all the people important to me that I love them. And then the other group of people are kind of like, oh my gosh, I really missed it. I didn't tell my sister, my mom, my dad. I didn't tell them how important they are. He shared that near-death experience, and it has made an impact on my life. And so part of the speech is actually carrying that message forward. Hope I can do that a little bit today. And I have to tell you, when I first joined Toastmasters, we did a little bit different meeting. Some of you guys were here, obviously. We had a big monitor, and we did a hybrid meeting because we were going through COVID. And during COVID, not everybody could be here for the safety of their loved ones or people that were nurses, whatever. I got to meet Carson through a TV. And he didn't know this, but I felt like he was like my bigger brother in a way because your music room is the exact same thing as my older brother's. It's blue, guitars all over the wall. And so it made becoming a Toastmaster just a little bit easier for me because I had this familiarity there. Now, what about my older brother? Well, Carson, you're kind of like an older brother. You give me advice. You give me the kind of advice that I don't want to hear. It's the stuff I need to hear. So let me go on to my real big brother, Mike. The purpose of the speech is to thank him too. You see, my older brother Mike was born June 1st, 1971, and he may or may not watch this. If he is, I want to wish him a happy birthday on YouTube. He's got a great family. He has a beautiful wife. She's Greek. Her name is Bia. It's short for Olympia. He has two really tall, smart, amazing sons. One is Evan, or his Greek name is Evangelos, and Dane, I think it's Konstantinos. The Greeks pronounce the T's like these, so Konstantinos, I have to remind myself that. He currently lives just south of Chicago, in an area that was once settled by the Potawatomi Indians. Mike, if you're watching this on YouTube, Bushu Nichina, that just means what's up? He works in the medical field. He's an avid musician, like Carson. He's a great guitarist. Now that I no longer live with him, I really appreciate his skills. But at the time, living in that house, he was just ripping solos at 7 in the morning until 2 in the morning. And it would drive me crazy. Guitarists like D.B. King, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. You guys have heard of Yngwie Malmsteen, some of you musicians. If you can't play it great, play it loud, play it fast. That's Yngwie. groups like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin. Who else? I don't know. Pink Floyd. Yeah. When he was 12, he could play the Stairway to Heaven near perfect as far as I could tell. And what I found extremely funny was he would give lessons to my dad's friends. These older guys would come over and they're sitting there with a 12-year-old and he's teaching them how to play guitar and some skills. Well, when he wasn't playing guitar, he was taking me on adventures. Or maybe trying to ditch me as the pesky little brother that I was. One day I think I was really on his nerves because he jumped on a train and rode it clear to town. It was a freight train by our house. And here I'm thinking, let's go on an adventure. I start running, I jump on the train, and the train sped up. It started going so fast that I was like, you know, these little legs of mine, I won't be able to get off until the next town or something if I don't get off now. So I was at least smart enough to jump off the train. Well, some time had passed, and all of a sudden there was this thunderous crash. Boom! And I was like, oh my God, it sounded like an explosion. The train must have hit something. Well, I don't know, it seemed like an eternity, but I see my brother walking back from, I don't know what had happened. And he was bloody, he had grass in his hair, dirt on his face. He looked like a war victim or something. On the outside, I have to confess, I portrayed something of a caring younger brother, but inside, again, Mike, if you're watching this on YouTube, I was laughing. You look like Wile E. Coyote after falling off the cliff. Something else, I've got another confessional, confessing up here. I used to steal your car, Mike. At the age of 12 or 13, I decided it was time I needed to learn to drive stick shift. So while you thought you were, running low on gas, you had a gas leak, that was me. I would have filled it up, but I didn't want to get popped. I looked pretty young. I would have gone to jail for stealing cars, so I didn't want to do that. I also used to unplug some of your musical equipment. Sorry. And I know it probably didn't slow you down too much, but somehow it made me feel good just before you go into your 7 in the morning solos that you had to struggle a little bit to figure out what plug went where. I'm also sorry for tying your legs to the bed, Mike. I had hoped that you'd fall off on your face on the floor when you woke up. And it's funny because he came back later and told me, he's like, yeah, I played along with that. And that was kind of like his way of being a good big brother. And I don't believe that you played along to be a good big brother. I think you were looking to beat me up or have an excuse to beat me up later. One last confession, Mike. I may have purposely set some Legos out by your door. So, those screams, I promise they made me feel bad. Anyway, you just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Mike. Carson, I want to thank you for giving us that speech. I hope that I was somehow able to carry your message forward a little bit. When you leave, guys, tell people you love them. It's important. Thank you.